Thank you. Perfect. This works. So, and that works. So I know I'm the absolutely last thing before you and lunch, so I'll not try to be not longer than like 40 minutes or something like that. So no, I'm okay. I'm with 15 minutes. So unless you ask too much. So just to introduce myself, I'm Rezab. I run Social Bakers. Social Bakers, for those of you who don't know it, is a social media analytics service and platform. We provide basically a tool for companies to improve themselves in social and immerse themselves. We are being used by about 100 out of the Fortune 500 companies, and we're really sort of ramping up the service. We're at 115 people as a company, and considering we launched this 4 years ago with 4 founders, it's been a dynamic growth. If you haven't visited our site, definitely take a look at that and write down that you should go visit that, because we use our site as a freemium place to go check out content. So if you want to find out about social stats, you basically go to our site and we create these beautiful little reports that we send out, Italian reports, local reports around the world basically. And as a company, we make money through a couple things. We run our free site, but then we run our products that we then effectively sell to companies. But I'm not here to pitch you Social Bakers that much, that those pitches were before. But I'm here to talk about social. And I'm here to talk about how social is changing the way we view marketing. Basically, you know, before social marketing, if you wanted to write a brand, you would send them an email. Now, if you just go to their Facebook page or to their Twitter page and send them a complaint. A beauty of a complaint in a social world is that that is public. So a lot of the services companies like airliners or even car companies and hotel companies have been focusing their customer care efforts to basically go and respond every one of their fan comments in social media. And that's an awesome thing to do. So this big shift is not only about asking, what is my social media ROI? It's about asking how much money social media saves. What is the shift? It moves. Just people are there. You should go there with them, right? So companies and people always tell us, you know, startups also, what are the metrics in social that we should focus around? Because initially, as social was evolving, you're only focusing, okay, I have a number of fans. I have 1,000, I have 10,000, I have 100,000, I have 10 million. But how do I get, you know, from that? How do I utilize that? You just don't, you know, like, you don't have just 10 million fans and do nothing, right? So the principle of social media is the newsfeed. You send them posts through your newsfeed. That's how you generate interactions. And the interactions is what you need to measure. And you need to measure them through engagement rates, so how people engage with your content, through response rates, so how do you respond to your fans' comments, and of course, growth of your community. We actually, as a company, are very much dived into metrics. So we have a thing called the engagement rate, and you can see the calculation on the screen. Basically, it's the number of interactions in social divided by the number of posts and divided by the number of fans. And we're working and playing with those metrics, because in social, it's not one metric. You have to constantly evolve metrics. It's a completely new industry, and we have to look at it as a new industry. We also created a new metric called daily page engagement rate, which is better for community. Basically better for communities, media companies. So if you're a media company, you will go and post 5 times, 10 times on your Facebook page during a day. And you need to measure that in a slightly different way. So then when you compare these metrics for, say, Italian brands and the ones that have the top engagement, Hub Social Design has the best engagement, followed by a couple brands. But it will be more media companies. We see Greenpeace in the ones by the daily engagement rate. And that can be, you know, used on Facebook, like likes, comments, and shares. That can also be used on Twitter, replies, retweets, favorites, and then compared. And the beauty of social is that it's open. You don't have to like look at you look at only your results. You can compare immediately to your competition. And that's the best thing, because you can then optimize very quickly. So getting inspired by your competition is key. These are some of the top brands in Italy. On Social Bakers, we focus on these ranks. And we create ranks of companies all over the world. We're about to create also a new startup category. So we will scale a rank of the top startups based on the number of fans, and also obviously based on the number of app users that they have. And here you see them based on the number of fans that they have only. And basically to create that, we had to ask our community, our 300,000 marketers that use our site, to come in and basically help suggest those ranks, help suggest those brands. And to do social analytics, you don't only have to basically compare yourself to one competitor, you can compare yourself to an entire benchmark. So you can compare, if you're a car company, you go and compare yourself to all car companies around the world. You also monitor response rates. So, you know, response rates are a nice thing because you monitor basically wall posts and questions. Now, you would be very surprised on how many brands actually don't respond. So currently, 85% of brands on Facebook do not respond to their wall posts at all. So if fans post questions to them, they do not answer. 85%. That's not a very social behavior. That's very unsocial. And if we look at, for example, car companies like Audi, there might be a post saying, you know, hey, I wanna buy this car. Where can I get it, you know, right now? Where can I basically buy it or look at it or test ride it? And there's not a response to that post. There's something wrong with the process of you managing your customer care channels. So, you know, for us, it's you know, there's a lot of buzz about social being so evolved and about so many companies being there, but actually how the companies treat their presence on Facebook and on Twitter and other social networks is still sometimes surprising. I have a couple other examples how you obviously how to measure social. We've been monitoring the presidential elections in the US, and we've been monitoring all the candidates, all their engaging. By the way, candidates do not respond at all to their fans' comments, 0%, all of them consistently. But one thing that they do is they react to topics. So when a particular list of topics is emerging around you know, something that's trending, they do and actually respond to that. And similarly to this, in January, we've launched this infographic with, around the presidential elections. And one of the parts of the infographic was the different candidates' most engaging posts. And no other candidate really used that in any way, other than President Obama. Ad Age basically covered this one day later and showed that, okay, this is the most viral picture for President Obama. And then 6 weeks later, basically, Obama's used that picture to present his new campaign and used it in his new campaign. So probably his campaign marketers basically looked at that, saw it's, wow, it's really working as a picture, so then started using it. And that, for us, is very important. We're exploring different fields of social analytics. So social engagement on profiles is one way to look at things. Another way to look at social engagement is through Net Promoter Scores. So if you don't know Net Promoter Scores are an answer to a simple question. How likely would you be to recommend a brand to friends? So how likely would you be to recommend Nike to your friends? And we ask that in a Facebook app and distribute it and scale that around the world. And we're getting thousands of votes on a daily basis now and basically scaling that application into getting more content. But when we analyzed the categories that we did populate, for example, car companies, it was very surprising on how these companies are performing. But we didn't only analyze their car companies, we analyzed also the ones that were promoters. You can analyze the demographics. You can analyze if the promoters are more male, older, or the ones that are negative around your brand would be you know, younger people, for example. So for us as a company, we always focus on analytics and data. So it's about basically helping track, compare, and improve performance for companies. And that's what I believe marketers and startups should do. So when you're launching your social pages, don't only launch them and put them up there and send some content. Look at what others are doing. Look at what the competitors are doing. Look at what the top people on the market are doing. If you don't compare what you're doing, you'll never get good results. So in order to really get good results, you have to do that. You have to look around in social. That is critical. So obviously, you guys wanna go have lunch. Who here is hungry? Nobody's hungry, so should I do another round of 10, 20 minutes? So basically, if I sum up, and if there are a couple things I want you to take take home with and basically use in your jobs or in what you do, is choose the right metrics to monitor. So don't only monitor by fans. That's not the right metric. Build the right content. Compare that content and immediately see what is working and what you can continue with. Obviously, don't only do proactive engagement, meaning reaching out to your fans and sending stuff. You actually have to respond to them, and that comes down to B2C companies, but also B2B companies. I mean, somebody asked about B2B companies. We are promoting ourselves on Facebook as well, and it works, not only through advertising, which works as well, but also through our profile, through our applications, through our integrations on our site. And obviously use the right tools and partners. And there are a lot of free tools out there. There are a lot of good paid products out there. If you want to take a look at some of the things we have, definitely come and talk to me after the presentation. There will be a good lunch now. And obviously, I'll be happy to take questions. Thank you very much.